Hi guys, and welcome back. In the previous lesson, you learned how to develop your very own grain bill, so you're well on your way to developing your own beer recipe. Now the next step is to figure out which hops to use and how much of them you're going to need. I'll start off by reminding you that hops come in a variety of flavors. Now this is important to remember because you don't want something like a stout, for example, to have a very citrusy flavor. And second, hops are used for two other purposes. One, they help to bitter your beer, balancing out that sweetness, and two, you can use them for added aroma. So as a home brewer then, you have to ask yourself, how bitter do I want my beer to be? And how concerned am I with the smell of it? Because there's so many hops out there, I really can't get into detail about all of them. Plus, you might not like the ones that I enjoy anyways. What I will do, however, is go over some of the more popular ones. For those of you brewing a nice lager, such as a German or a Czech Pilsner, consider using either Hallertauer or Saaz. These work really great in beers that use wheat as an adjunct. They'll give you a nice sort of spicy, earthy flavor. If you're planning on brewing an English ale, you can't go wrong with East Kent Golding, which has a floral flavor to it. A nice alternative to East Kent are Fuggles, which give you a little bit more of like a woody flavor. And for those of you looking to brew something hoppy like a North American Pale Ale, you'll often hear people refer to the 3 C's: Cascade hops, Columbus, and Centennial. Now another really good one is Citra. That's going to give you a bitter grapefruit flavor, so I'd consider not only the 3 C's, but Citra as well. Now for further details on the hops, including the ones I mentioned, check out the additional document that I added on the course website. It's really important to put the right amount of hops in your beer because the last thing you want to do is make something so bitter that it isn't even drinkable. So how do we figure out exactly how much hops we need in our beer? That's where a brewing calculator comes into play. You can actually use the same one you use when developing your grain bill at www.byo.com. Just make sure that you start inputting your hops after you've created your grain bill, because the amount of malt you use is going to dictate how much you need in order to add the right bitterness. As you can see, I've already developed a grain bill for a German-style Pilsner. My color, gravity, and ABV levels are where I need them. Now, I'll click the Hops tab, and before I do anything else, I'll make sure to change the unit system to ounces. This particular calculator doesn't let you input your numbers in grams, so those of you using the metric system will have to make the conversions on your own. To make a proper German-style Pilsner, I need my IBUs, again that's International Bittering Units, to fall within the range of 25 to 40. Remember, hops added at the beginning of the boil are strictly for bittering. I've already decided to use Hallertauer for this, so I'll click the drop-down box, and when I find it, I'll select Hallertauer Gold German. You can see that my IBUs are 0 at this point. Even if I add an amount, it will still read 0 until I input my boil time. I'll just test that here to show you. As you can see, 1 ounce of Hallertauer Gold still leaves me with 0 IBUs. If I now change the boil time to 60 minutes, that changes to just over 23, which is close to where I want to be in the end. The Hallertauer will add a bit of flavor to my beer, but if I really want my hops to add flavor, I have to add them towards the middle of the boil. What I'll do then is add more hops at the 30-minute mark. In my drop-down box, I'll select Saaz, check. Then I'll type in 30 and input 1 ounce again to see what happens. Having done that, you can see I'm at 34 IBUs. Normally with this beer style, I wouldn't worry too much about adding aroma, but I'll demonstrate it anyways for your future reference. What you need to do is add aroma hops with 15 minutes or less to go in the boil. You can even add them when your wort is no longer boiling. In doing so, you'll add aroma without extracting bitterness. Now that's what I'll do here since 34 IBUs is more than enough. I'll add half an ounce of Saaz at the 0-minute mark. As you can see, my IBU count hasn't increased. And that's how you calculate how much hops you need in each of your brews. Remember to check the document I've put in as an additional resource on the course website. In the next lesson, I'm going to be teaching you how to select the right yeast for each of your brews. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.